Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the DNVR Rapids podcast. I am your host, Mitchell Carroll, a.k.a. Merchel. And it's a post-game. It is a post-game. Sorry, I had to move down from my office upstairs. The internet was not working, so I'm down in the DNVR bar. Live, Duane is upstairs in the DNVR art hole. And joining me, of course, it's downtown Duane Brown.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a rare morning edition of DNVR Rapids. It's always sunny at DNVR Rapids in the morning.
It's sunny for DNVR Rapids. I don't know if it is. That was a tough loss last night. Rapids fall 4-1 in their League's Cup finale, and it wasn't that close. It was a outclassing by Toluca in their home game, which, like, poor Alan Roach is sitting there. He's calling these plays for Toluca like they're right. Anytime there's a goal, Alan Roach has to turn up the Alan Roach voice, and they're showing Toluca goal on all the video boards, and it was a mess. It was. Well, let's get into the game. And actually, I kind of want to do this based on what Robin Fraser was saying afterwards. Duane, are you familiar with what Robin Fraser always says after every single game the Rapids play?
Disappointed in the result?
He did get there eventually. Right?
No, I can speak to the presser before the game on Sunday, but I didn't listen to the post-match.
He says, I thought we started off quite positively. We were able to put them under some pressure. Probably didn't do as well with some of our early possessions as we needed to, but it was more or less an even first half. Well, that's not true. They were outpossessed 2-1. They only had one shot on target in the first half. They just looked like they were playing two different games, right? Like, so clearly there is just a differential in class of these two clubs. I think we saw more strung together one-touch passes. I think I counted 4 in a row several times from Toluca, and I don't think I saw it once from the Rapids last night. There's just no link through this team. Everything is a struggle. Every reception of a pass is a struggle. Every finding a pass is a struggle. Every dribble is around someone at a different angle than you wanted it to be. It was brutal. It was a brutal game, Duane. I don't even know where to start. Where do you want to start? Let's talk about what Duane wants to talk about.
Well, it was an ominous from the beginning, very 2023 start, in the sense that I think most Rapids fans were texting each other about whether they were going to go to the match or not. I think there was a lot of excitement to go, myself included. And then you look at the weather radar and you're like, are you kidding me? Like, is this thing going to get rained out again? And so, right off the bat, it just had those 2023 feels, with the weather and everything else. So, thankfully the match happened. The weather cleared up enough for us to get going, albeit late. And hey, high fives to both Toluca and the Rapids fans who stayed out, to their supporters group, which was awesome, to C38 who stayed out, which was awesome. Just, sticking it out and supporting their clubs. I thought that was cool. And then kickoff happened. And then the game started. And things got a little questionable from there, right? I do think, I think most of us would agree, even though the stats, paint a different picture, I don't think it's a different picture. Like, I don't think it was like a great first half, but the first half was certainly better and more enjoyable to watch as a fan than the second half, which was, aside from seeing Rubio return to the pitch, was not enjoyable. Uh, so, we saw a lot of Gutman in the first half being the offense, which was uh, awesome, but also not awesome because that's not what he's there to be. So, and there was a lot of pressure up front in the beginning, but it's that same story that we've seen this season is not being able to finish. Not enough creativity to open up space, to give somebody space to shoot. So you saw shots, which was nice, but you didn't see a lot of shots on goal.
There was very few shots on goal. It was the real chances were few and far between last night. I want to talk about just the Toluca supporters, a point you brought up there. Like, technically, it was a Toluca home game. The Rapids were the lowest seeded team in the group, but the games aren't in Mexico, right? So,
yep,
home game for Toluca, and that was a home crowd for Toluca. They were loud.
For sure.
I think the biggest difference I noticed between the crowds is at Rapids games, and I think the Rapids crowds have been fantastic this year. This is not trying to knock the Rapids crowds. This is not trying to say anything negative about the Rapids crowds, but the Rapids crowds are not coordinated in terms of chants, getting on the ref. Like, you have your C38 standing sections, you have your couple C38 sitting sections, you have some, pretty decent supporter sections behind the goal there, but for the most part, it's C38. It's the two C38 sections screaming at each other, right? And the rest of the crowd isn't in on it. When something went either for or against Toluca, you heard it from the entire stadium. The entire stadium. And
it came across on the broadcast as well on Apple TV.
It was awesome. It was.
Their drummers are well organized as well as a musician.
The drummers were C38. There weren't any Toluca drummers.
Oh, well, C38 stepped it up then. They were really well organized last night. I thought it was Toluca. So that's great to hear then, because you don't get to see that. So high five to C38.
Look, C38 was great too. I'm not trying to bring down anybody over there at
C38. No, I wasn't saying you at all. I just noticed the drums really well last night.
It was. I was so impressed with the crowd. They were popping smoke, screaming, whistles at the ref, Ole-ing the Rapids. It felt like it wasn't just the domination that we were talking about on the field. It felt like domination entirely. They took over the entire stadium, and good for them. I mean, the atmosphere was great. It was so fun until the scoring started. Pedro Raul joined Toluca last week, right? Just over a week ago, and put in just an awesome goal. I mean, that goal right before halftime to put them up 1-0. Man, that scissor, whatever you want to call it, wasn't really a bicycle. Was the nicest goal we've seen in person this year. Any team, any side, Rapids or otherwise.
For sure.
It was just really impressive. I was so impressed with them. It wasn't, it was tough, but you kind of knew it was coming. I mean, I don't think none of us picked a win, right?
No.
I was about 5 seconds away in the first half from tweeting, man, I think the Rapids can get the 2 goals they need here. Really, because it's the same thing every time.
It started out, it was fun, and you saw a lot of energy. The Rapids came out on their front foot and didn't do the everybody is a defender tactic. They really started to push and make a play towards the goal. So I mean, there's totally valid reason to believe that at the beginning of the game and in the first half. It's like we were pushing pretty hard.
Yeah,
which
but
you
that's
have
just a
to do
broken
against a
record.
team
It's a
like
broken
Toluca.
record though, because that's what
for
we said
sure.
against. That's
But
what we said against
still,
Nashville. That's what we said against pick a team in the last 2 months, where it's like a great 20 minutes to start the game, and then it goes to about even, and then the Rapids end up getting dominated in the second half. I mean, there's almost no, like you could almost copy and paste what we're saying about the actual game flow from the last 4 post game shows.
100%.
Maybe not 4 because they did win on. They did go on a 3 unbeaten at the end.
So what does that say about us?
Whatever.
For getting our hopes up at the beginning of every game?
Because you're watching it, right? Like, it's fun. Like they were playing well. Cole was pushed up to that left winger spot. Harris was inside, which I think I'm done seeing that. I think that's over. I mean, Navarro will be here the next game they play, I guess. So there's no reason anyone that's not named Yappy, Navarro, or Diego Rubio should be playing in the center of that attack. That none of it has worked. Cabral included, and we'll get to that later. But Cole was up left. I thought it mostly worked. There wasn't really that third piece. It was just him and Gutman, and I think they needed that third midfielder, which is a lot of the time Ben Cole, because he's kind of worked his way around that top side of the midfield. They were missing something there. Ronan was tracking too far back. Leyva is just uninvolved most of the time. I don't know, man. It was I don't know. Like it's the same thing. And now we get a couple of weeks off. We can kind of just relax, maybe watch some preseason football, maybe watch some Premier League in a couple weeks. I mean, do you want a break? Like, how are you feeling? You're a longtime Rapid supporter, longtime season ticket holder. Are you excited to have a few weeks off? Like, where's your head at with that?
I don't know that I'm excited for a break, but I'm thankful for it. This has been a long, mostly unhappy season, and it's like, I'm not trying to poop on the club or anything, but it's like facts are facts, man. And like, this has not been a fun season. I think, we can get into this later, but I think you can see from what, Plone and Burgundy Wave posted about some of the comments from Bassett and Rubio. Like, I think the players need a break. Like, they're not having fun. The fans are not having fun.
How can you?
I don't think the people trying to sell season tickets for next year having fun. Like, I don't think
I got an email this morning from a season ticket rep.
Yeah, it's just I don't think anybody's having fun. So I think the break is good. I'm still excited about Leagues Cup. Like, I'm gonna keep watching League Cup. I think Leagues Cup has been some really fun soccer to watch. I can't remember who it was. I don't know. It might have been Matt over at Burgundy Way, but somebody was talking about the frustration of everybody making it MLS versus Liga McKee, and it's just, who cares? Like, it's not about that. Like, it's a team that's going to win the thing. It's not a league,
Right.
And so it just, get off of all of that crap. Who cares? Follow the teams and be heartbroken when your team loses. And, yeah, it was Wanners. Wanners had some really good stuff on Twitter yesterday.
God, Wanners was on fire.
He was really
game last night.
Yeah. Thanks, Vikings. Yeah, it was totally Wanners. Anyway, it's just like, like enjoy the tournament for what it is, and I think it's the further it gets along and the closer we get to the end, it's going to be some really, really great soccer to watch. So, having a break for the Rapids means more time to watch Leagues Cup and some teams I'm not as familiar with from Mexico, which is great.
Right. I mean, it's a celebration of soccer in the Americas, right?
For sure.
And it's we just got done with a Nations League and a Gold Cup, but next year is Copa, right? So it's not going to be necessarily those, like the top clubs and stuff like that, and even, USA, Mexico or anything like that. It's, Leagues Cup is something to celebrate. I think it's really fun. I think you're seeing
Totally.
two very different cultures, not just styles, two different cultures, not clashing, but coming together in stadiums and having a really good time. These teams are really fun. The fan bases are traveling very well. I'm all in on Leagues Cup. Give me more Leagues Cup. I mean, this will probably turn into a Leagues Cup podcast for the next 2 weeks.
I'm enjoying it.
Dude, it's been great. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I really.
The other thing with the break is, are you talking about the game, or do you want to move to the second half?
I'm trying to think how much more of the game I even want to think about, because Kevin Cabral draws that penalty, but he should have buried that goal 10 feet before that. It was just another disaster class of attacking football from everybody involved. He gets bailed out with a penalty, cut it to 2-1. You think, oh, maybe they can at least tie it, or, come close to tying it, put some pressure on to go to penalties, even if it doesn't mean they advance. And then immediately they give up 2 goals and stop it, including a penalty. In case anyone had any hope whatsoever, they made sure you didn't. And it was, like everyone going into this tournament was saying, this is what we get to root for, right? Like, this is what's left. This is season's done, right? Open Cup out. Season's been terrible, but Rubio might be coming back. We can see Navarro, Gutman's here, young guys getting some minutes maybe. And, they were 2 inches away from Cole tying that Nashville game, but this game was not close, right? Like, this game was, there was nothing close about this game. They were outclassed. They scored 2 goals across 2 tournament games, gave up 6. It was just, I know that these guys want to win, right? I've talked to the players at training, talked to them at DNVR. I've talked to them. Like, we know what's going on with them. We know that they are tired of losing. They are tired of these bad results.
Yep.
But to kind of just stamp the season, right? Like, before the breaks, right? Like this is over. Right? Like, come watch Navarro play, but this is done. I mean, this is like, I'm surprised we don't have one of our rest in peace graphics that we usually throw up after stuff like this.
I know the message is going to be like playoff push and we're not eliminated yet, but I'm not a mathematician. I don't know what would need to happen other than a lot of teams going into an absolute death spiral all at the same time, and the Rapids having a historic run. 2019 like turnaround when Fraser first got here. Like the second half of that season was a nice run, but this is an even steeper climb.
They are 10 games out of a playoff spot, a play-in spot, not playoff, play-in, with 11 games to play. A minus 14 goal differential, only 16 goals for in league play. Let's see. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 Western teams with double the goals of the Rapids. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Eastern teams with double the goals of the Rapids. It has been.
It's
look, I'm not the Rapids.
bad.
See, I'm not the Rapids historian, and I was going to say that, but this feels like the worst season they've had.
I'd have to go back and look.
Everyone hated the vibes of the Hudson era more, I think. Well, I don't know
if
that's true.
The Hudson era will as bad as this season will be, nothing will be as bad to me as the Hudson era was. My dislike for one person is so strong that it's even this season doesn't compare to that as much as I don't like this season. But I think when you look at numbers, like at the end of the season, we go back and we relate it. Like without a crazy turnaround, like this will be on a run for historic low numbers.
Yeah.
And I don't see one player coming in this week changing that like all that much.
No,
It's
and
still a
it's not
team
about
sport.
that. Yeah.
It's not an individual, competition. It's a team sport. And it's just, we're over halfway through the season and the team's not functioning, or the plan is not functioning. I don't know which one it is, or maybe it's both.
I want to talk about the one player that for sure is coming in and kind of the end of the window, which ends tomorrow, and kind of talk about that here in this next segment. But first, let's talk about Shady Rays, Duane. You're a Shady Rays guy.
Man, I wore some Shady Rays on the way in this morning, and boy, are my eyes thankful. And the other thing is with Shady Rays, I have my new pair of Shady Rays that are Colorado tested all across whitewater rafting, great sand dunes, hiking, everything held up great, super comfy. And so I thought those were going to be my backup pair, but now they've kind of become my primaries.
Mm-hmm.
And the other day, I went into a store. I was running some errands. I got in my car. I'm driving, and I can't find them. And I'm like, crap, I lost my Shady Rays. And I was like, well, hey, they get replaced for free if they're broken or damaged or lost. And so I was a little bit thankful for that, but I was still sad that I lost my glasses. And guess where they were?
On your roof.
They were on my head the entire time. I just put them up on top of my hat.
Well, so, Duane,
they're idiot proof as well as I've tested. Yeah.
Look, if you did lose them, Shady Rays has your back. Yes. They have the most insane protection in the sunglass industry, in my opinion. If you lose or break your pair, they will replace it, even on day one. No questions asked.
Even if you're a dummy like me.
If you're a dummy like Duane. They really do make world-class product. This is they're great sunglasses, polarized lenses, durable frames. You could spend 4 times the price of these Shady Rays and get lower quality sunglasses. They are truly giving you great product at great prices with great protections. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. And with their customers, Shady Rays is providing much needed support to nonprofit partners across the U.S. through Shady Rays Impact. They're building play sets for pediatric cancer patients. They are taking young adults with MS on outdoor adventures. Shady Rays, they're making an impact in your community and others like it for years to come. You can shop the entire collection at their brand new location in Park Meadows Mall. It's a full stop shop for all things Shady Rays. And if you don't love your Shady Rays, you can exchange them for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. They always have your back end exclusively for our listeners. Just ours, no one else's. Shady Rays is giving out the best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use code DNVR for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. Duane, do you have any flowers to give?
Sure.
Do you actually?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, look at that graphic pop up. Yeah. I'm gonna give the default, flowers to Rubio.
Let's go.
One for me, like big Rubio fan. So like just seeing him get back on the pitch was really nice to me, and I think for a lot of fans. I do think that there's a certain leadership grittiness kind of like energy that Rubio brings, and you saw a little bit of that again last night when he came on, which was nice. I was happy for him that he got that penalty, because I know earlier in the season when he missed one, I know he took that really personally, because the dude wants to win, but he also really holds himself accountable to fans, and I've talked with him. You've talked to him. Yeah. We've all talked to him a bunch of times, and that dude cares. Like, he cares what the fans think. He cares what the fans say. And I know earlier in the season when he missed that PK, like, he was equal parts heartbroken and totally pissed off. Because I think he felt he let himself down and he let the fans down,
Totally,
and
man.
So
Totally.
I saw him get the PK and I was like, this is great, man. Like, he's no way he misses this. I think he's going to exercise that demon from the PK earlier this season. So, yeah, I'm glad he's healthy and fit to be able to get back on the pitch. It was good to see him. He buried that PK, and flowers to him, man. Good to see him back. That's my player flowers. The other flowers would go to C38, especially the drums, which I thought were extra organized last night. They sounded great. And also Toluca's fans, showed out too. But we talked about that earlier in the show.
Yeah, Rubio gets flowers. Gutman, Yaya disagrees, but I think Gutman was it wasn't his best game. It was probably his worst game as a Rapid, but I think he was the best Rapid on the field. So that shows you how the quality of play was last night. But I thought he was fine. He gets a flower. I don't know. There's not much to give. Last point on the game, and it was the last point from the game. And it's kind of anti-flowers, and I don't like doing this because this is my guy. I think this is the podcast's guy that this is kind of Rapids fans guy right now. Bombito, game ends. He just was involved in giving up that penalty at the end. They gave up 2 late stoppage time goals. It was a close game to a blowout in seconds. I mean, it was a blowout anyways, but the scoreline didn't reflect it, and then it did. You have Toluca fans popping smoke and going crazy and allaying them in their home stadium. Whistle blows. Bombito turns, doesn't say a word to anybody, walks straight to the locker room, and is off the field before the rest of the team makes it over to C38 to applaud their fans. Look, Moise is a young guy, doesn't have a ton of experience, right? Was a year and a half ago, was playing in junior college. But now you're a high MLS draft pick. You're playing consistent minutes on an MLS team. You're starting for your national team. You can't do that. These supporters waited 2 hours through a lightning delay, stayed through a 4-1 beatdown, and are still there at the end of the game. And you don't go give them the time of day. I think it's unacceptable. I saw, I think Pollard asked a question about it in the post game. Frazier said he's young and it's something we can learn from. And I hope he learns from it, because that's anti-professionalism right there. In soccer, you have to wear these losses, man. You have to wear the loss. You have to go over and you have to talk to the fans. You have to thank the fans for being there. And I thought it was, I don't want to use the word classless, but it was not good. It was not classy. It was,
it's not a good look. Yeah. I do think a lot of that is youthful frustration. I'm not excusing it. My guess is he probably got an earful.
Oh, of course. Oh,
that.
Yeah. We all noticed instantly on press row. All of us. We saw it the second it happened. It was very clear and obvious. I don't know how clear it was from the stands or from the TV, but yeah, it was.
I think some, reprimands were given, and I think they were given by, players, not by coaches. And, that is going to be a lesson that I bet will not happen again.
Hope not.
So good for him that he learned that as a young player.
Well, we don't know that he learned it. We hope he learned it.
Well,
yeah.
I'm guessing, and maybe I'm wrong, but knowing some of the players that we've talked to, and how they feel about the fans, win or lose. I'm guessing he got a pretty good dressing down. I hope he did anyway.
I hope he did too.
And so anyway, yeah, it remains to be seen if that lesson sticks, but if it does, and hopefully it does, this is one step, in his journey to become a pro. He's playing professional ball now, but there's a difference between playing professional ball and being a pro. Yeah. And this is part of that journey. And I'm guessing every player has done that. The entire Rapid squad used to do that during the Tim Howard era all the time. So, and again, not excusing Bombito, and just saying that, players who have been around much longer than him have made that F up as well.
I mean, even Yarby and Keegan, right? Because they were the other two on the end of the and that end of the field, and they go and talk to each other. Yarby's just sitting there like shell shocked, right? Keegan goes and get him, and you know what they do? They turn around and they walk over to C38.
Yep.
Right. Those two are
pro.
There's 5 guys on that back line at the end. If you include Yarby, they all gave up those goals, right? Yarby specifically, and they still went and did it.
Yep.
Rubio, who's probably more pissed than anyone, any fan, any media member, any front office staff, any coaching staff. I guarantee you was more pissed about that result than anybody. Yep. And he still went and did it because that's what you do. That's being a professional. And especially after the season that you have given these supporters, and for them to wait through a lightning delay and wait through a beatdown, it was not good. It was just it was insulting is really what it was. And yeah. I'm not even a part of that. I'm upstairs. I'm up in the press box, right? Like I'm not a part of that. And in just a season of things that have not gone the way of Rapid supporters, that was just another one. It was frustrating.
I mean, that was the game.
Look, they are psycho, and I mean that with every ounce of respect behind it. They are psycho in the best way. I love it. Okay, so last night, I think either right before or during the game, our Brazilian king, who has yet to step foot in Colorado, well, he did last night. Rafael Navarro posts on his Instagram at the airport saying bye to his friends and family. That means visa's approved. He's on his way. I bet you we see him holding up a Rapid skin on the field today or tomorrow at the latest.
Oh, it'll be today. Yeah,
it'll be today if he's here. Correct.
After last night, the media push is going to be instantaneous.
Yeah. So, and as our homie Texas Viking pointed out earlier, it's a process that goes slowly, right? The gears of the government do not speed up for anyone. Yep. Unless you're Messi, which is fair.
Yeah.
But he's here. And honestly, it's better. He think coming, if he got here on Friday, Saturday, do you think that he comes into this game and they don't lose 4-1, right? Without knowing his teammates, without any sort of chemistry, practice, anything? No.
I mean, maybe the score will be different, but I still think the result will be
maybe. Yeah, the result is still a beatdown, right? Like, I don't think
we've not seen him play. We've seen highlight reels. So, I mean, if he's like a legit finisher, then maybe this has a different score because there were chances in that first half, for sure.
Yeah. And you have a winger playing striker, right? And
yes. So who knows? But I again, you're bringing a guy into a team that's not functioning. Like a well-greased, organized machine already. You're plugging in one more piece halfway through the season. That's not going to go smoothly instantaneously, and that's where this break is really advantageous for both the Rapids, for Navarro, and also for Rapids media, in the sense that he's not going to be jumping into a game the day after he arrives. The Gutman pulled that off real freaking well.
In MLS form, I think there's a big difference there.
Exactly. But still, he's a brand new piece into a new team.
Sure.
It's impressive.
Yes.
So nothing but high fives to him for that. But now you get 3 weeks to work with the team, to get to know each other, hopefully get a feel for each other's movements and style of play, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And maybe things start to look differently up front, right? And so maybe LAFC turns into this nice surprise of a rapid squad that is functional on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know, man. I'm just saying, you got the 3 weeks to work on it versus 48 hours to work on it is a better thing. Do I think it's going to be messy like how they're turning around Miami? Nope.
No.
Not even close. He's not Messi, or the other legion of very expensive players that they've brought in with world-class experience, But, I'm thankful that they have 3 weeks versus 48 hours to get them plugged in. So hopefully we'll see a little more of like what he can be or who he is versus he's only been here 48 hours. We don't really know who he is yet. So
I mean, you look, for the fan base, this is probably not the best outcome, right? The fan base wants to see him. They wanted him in a contest, the only contest they have a chance left of winning this year. So I get it. Yeah. I get wanting that. But man, it's a good thing that he gets 3 weeks, and I will leave it at that. And it's a very good thing that he gets 3 weeks. I think you'll see him and Rubio together a lot, because if Rubio played last night and he's still on the roster at whatever 01 p.m. tomorrow when the deadline passes,
God, that's going to be, if that were to happen.
I think he'll be here. I'm not trying to
I think he will.
I'm not trying to sensationalize. I know it came off like that.
No. I don't think you are either, and I don't think he goes anywhere either. But God, just
well, let's not get into that. I don't want to go down that road.
Just the worst 2023 ever for me personally. It's just I can't take any more. Please don't do that to me.
I think you'll see those two up top together a lot. I think you'll see that 3 back with the wings, in whatever midfield combination can fit in with them. But I think that's what you're going to see. I think you're going to see Rubio, Navajo, and it's going to have to work. I guess, okay, I'm curious, not just you, Duane, but everybody there in the chat that's still riding along with us for this early edition of the show. Expectations for Navarro, right? He gets 11 games, no extra. There's no Open Cup game. There's no Leagues Cup game for him. It's just 11 MLS dates for the end of the season until he comes back and plays the first half of next season before the bye decision comes down. What are you thinking? Goals wise, goal contributions, minutes, starts, all that stuff. I'll let you cook on that, Duane. I think if you get, say, 11 games, if you can get to half a goal contribution a game, right? Maybe even just half a goal a game with a couple assists, right? So if you can get to 5 goals and 2 assists, something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, in 11 games, 7 goal contributions in 11 games. Yeah, I mean that would be great.
You're paying him to be a half goal.
Yes,
a game
I mean, that's what I'm saying. You're paying him. If you keep him, you are paying $5 million. So that's what you would have to expect that, So, I mean, that's the thing. All we know is YouTube highlight reels. So I don't know. Even I think goal contributions is the key, right? Yeah. A lot of people are going to see him at the 9, and you're only going to look at him through the lens of goals, balls in the back of the net off of his foot. And For me, I'd rather see. I mean, obviously, I want to see that, but I think contributions is going to be key too, because if he is as advertised, uh, other teams in the MLS are going to, this is going to sound very negative, are going to finally have a reason to pay attention to the Rapids offense. They're going, I know it sounds negative, but dude, one home win, next to no goals. Our defender is our top scoring guy. Let's be honest. Again, I'm just spitting facts. I'm not. That's not conjecture. Those are hard core numbers. Pull them up. That's what they are.
Yep.
This team does not score goals. Other teams do not have to really focus that much on the Rapids offense as much as they do the defense.
Nope.
So now you are changing the game for other teams to where they have to pay attention to the Rapids offense. That to me will be interesting. If that means he's pulling attention away from the center backs and that opens up Rubio to take shots, and we see something like a Giassi situation, where maybe it's the other way around. Rubio is gaining the attention, can put one in. Giassi can, take out the garbage and put one in. If Navarro is that guy, then I think you're going to see a offense with a lot more opportunities than just run into the corner, wait for everybody on the other team to stack the box and then kick it last second, cross it in and hope for a miracle. So I think it will look a lot more on purpose, which will be more fun to watch. So that goal contributions versus actual goals, I think, is even more important, because I would love to see goals coming from not just him, but other players as well. That's how you win. That it has to be a team. It can't just be the one guy unless you're Miami, who clearly only need the one guy.
Right? You summed it up, and I think I don't think there's any doubt that Navarro's going to come in and play a shitload of minutes, right? If not every minute.
Yeah, I expect him to play every match.
990 minutes, right?
Yep.
800 minutes. Give me 800 minutes.
That's
right.
Something $5 million, dude. You're playing. Get on the field. You're playing.
The question is, who's going to be playing with him? I do not know this. I am not sourcing anything. I don't want people on Twitter to say that, because that is not what I am doing right now.
This is all guesswork.
There are going to I don't want to say there's going to be, because there might not be, but I see some outbounds.
You think there's going to be some moves?
I see some outbounds in our midst, and whether that's through, whether it's vets, right? Whether it's vets. I just see it. I see it going. I see it going. I noticed, last night, Sam actually got some run for the first time in a while, which hasn't been a thing. I thought he was long gone, still here. Mikey got some run in both games. I'm surprised he's still here.
I thought
Acosta didn't play last night, but he's still on the roster as of right now. So I don't know. But those were the three I had penciled in a month ago for leaving. Yeah, I also had Rubio on there, but I don't think he leaves now. I don't know. I don't know who's going, but I think there's going to be some outbounds. Look, this organization, right? There's been some highs. 2021 was amazing, right? There's been a lot of lows. There's been a lot of frustrations, injuries, bad seasons. But it just gets stale, right? I mean, you're 5 years into the Robin Porg tandem, right? And you have a lot of players that have been there, not the whole time, but for several years, and I think 21 was the ceiling, right? A miraculous run got you a good playoff spot, but you lost at home with a man advantage, right? And it just needs to be some rotation. That's why, more than anything, I just want to see those vets out, right? Like, there's a lot of teams in a playoff chase. It's going to be not a completely condensed schedule like it was before Leagues Cup, but it will be a condensed schedule, right, to end the season going into the playoffs. Yep. A guy like an Acosta, a guy like a Mikey who can eat up some minutes in a midweek game or for 20, 30 minutes at the end of a game is attractive to teams. And I know people don't think so because this team has been bad, but those are vets that have been around the league for a long time, that have been productive in this league for a long time. And I just see, I mean, even just looking at these fringe playoff teams, Houston, Dallas, Vancouver, right? Those are the last three. Vancouver has the 7. Dallas and Houston are in that play in game. Minnesota is a point out from that. Casey's 3 out. Portland's 3 out. Anybody from there down, I could see making a move. Austin and San Jose are at 32 points, right? I can see any of those teams looking to just get guys. You're not getting a lot of money for them, and that's not why. That's not why.
Well, contracts are coming up too for a lot of these guys too. So,
yeah,
from an organizational standpoint, it's, do we keep our roster as is, knowing we're going to lose guys at the end of the season? Do you run it out, or do you?
No, start it now. Start now.
Well, I know. I'm just saying these are the two options.
Yes.
Or do you see what's out there, see what interest is out there?
It's not about interest, and it's not about value. To me, it's not about either of those things. It's clearing the decks, right? If you really are committed to a rebuild, you get out pieces right now. You do not wait for winter. You say, this guy is not part of this rebuild. This guy is not a part of the team going forward. He's either too old, makes too much money, doesn't fit the style, whatever it is, but you have to start now. You have to. Sorry, I'm ranting.
I'm not. Rant away, my guy. No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I mean, for me, when you're not a buyer at the deadline, it's exactly what you just said, right? You've got to ask yourself, what are we doing with the squad? What is the plan moving into next season and beyond? Who is a part of that plan? Both already on the roster and not yet on the roster, and for those not yet on the roster, what moves do we need to make to free up spots? Because MLS is so kooky with all of the different classifications of roster spots. It's just like you have to do extra work just to make sure the right roster spot is open to bring in somebody if that's what you want. Yep. So sometimes you've got to make those moves just to be able to accomplish that, to even start conversations about future members of the squad that we don't even know about yet. So I agree with you. Sometimes you got to rip the Band-Aid off, right? And as much as we love some of these players, like Mikey, man, I love Mikey B.
How can you not
love him? I've loved him since he was here when I first started bringing my daughter to games, and it was just easy to point him out. It's like, check out the guy with the mohawk. He's super fast. Watch him come down, because that's what a little kid understands. Yeah. One guy is super fast.
Yep.
She doesn't need to know strategy. And he's a family favorite for us,
Yeah, he should be. He's awesome.
If he gets if somebody comes asking, and there are a playoff potential team, then I've got nothing for Joy, because Mikey gets to go play on a team that is making a push for the playoffs, like a legit one.
Yeah, he deserves it.
So yeah, I'm sad that he's gone, but I'm happy for the human being that is Mikey. Or insert any player in that. I'm just using him as an example. So, I'm also happy for anybody who gets to move into a position where they get to compete in the playoffs. Great for them. It sucks, but I'm still going to be happy for the human being. But
Look,
I'm with you. I'd rather moves
if
now
you
than
think
later.
you have had a tough season as a Rapid supporter, they have had it worse. Everybody in that locker room are having a worse time than you are. They are not enjoying it. No one likes getting their ass kicked over and over and over again. I promise you, they're having a terrible time. And if it means they can go play some
actual players,
yeah, and if they can go play some meaningful games, great. Last point before we start wrapping up here, Cody. Is it possible that Frazier is out? Would I be shocked? No, I would not be shocked. It's been a terrible season. They just got bounced embarrassingly from Leagues Cup. I don't see it happening because I don't know, like, what do you promote? Bushy? Do you just let Sharpie or Waldy do it? I don't know. I don't really know what that does. I don't, you know what I mean? So you might as well work out the season. Yeah. I don't see them running it back, though. I don't see Robin Frazier coaching this team next year. And I don't think he's a bad coach. I think he's a very good coach. I just think it's you can't – I don't know how this organization could look these fans in the eye and run it back. I just don't. You're an unserious club if that's what happens. Because, look, this was awful. And it was awful last year, and it got worse this year. So I just – I don't see it happening, but during this break. But yeah, it's been a rough season, and if you try and sell that as running it back next year, it's going to go poorly. So don't do that. Really quick, this episode of the DNVR Rapids podcast is brought to you by Illegal Pete's, the homies. We love Illegal Pete's. We're there all the time. It's your go-to spot this summer, and it's 100% DNVR's go-to spot this summer. On Friday, before I went to Vegas, before I left, we were the whole office, well, everyone that was there, cruised on down to Illegal Pete's right here at Colfax and Race, right down the street from the DNVR bar. And we hung out on the patio. There was some drinks. There was some, it's the best place to hang out for food, drinks, buddies, beer, burritos, all that stuff. It's the best. On that patio this summer, you can get your usual ice cold margarita. You can get your draft beers, or you can get a bucket of high noons. That's 5 of them for $22. Pretty good deal. And don't forget to follow at Illegal Pete's on Instagram to stay updated on all their big events and deals going down this summer. Stay tuned on their stories to win free tickets to the concerts you're dying to see. Illegal Pete's is here to make this summer one for the books. Illegal Pete's, your go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beer. Thank you, Illegal Pete's. Guys, this is our show for the week. We're doing our ad reads now. Now, if some crazy news happens, a Frazier firing, a big transfer, whatever that is, we will for sure jump on an emergency show. It could be one of us, could be 3 of us, could be a guest. We'll kind of just play that by ear. Deadline week can be weird, so we'll see what happens. A long break for a bad team can get very interesting, so we'll see what happens. But right now, we're just going to operate that this is the show this week. We'll be back for our studio show next week. Take a break, watch some Women's World Cup, watch some Leagues Cup, have fun with soccer. Soccer's great. Premier League's right around the corner. All the European leagues are starting soon. Watch soccer. It's the best sport there is. Enjoy it. I think that's all the updates we have. I'm sure Yaya's probably screaming at me from the producer end to say something else, but I don't remember what it is. So Duane, plug us out of here.
Send all your good vibes to Yaya. He's not feeling so well, which is why he is behind the camera today, helping us out on the producer level. So thanks, Yaya, for helping us out, even though you're not feeling great. Jump into hit like if you haven't hit like yet. Help us out. Anytime you get on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, anytime you can help give us a good review, hit that 5-star review. Super helps us out to be able to keep doing what we love doing, which is talk about the Rapids with you all. So give us a little bit of love, and we'll try and come up with some fun ideas over this nice long break that we got. To give the love right back with some fun shows over this break.
Yep. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Become a diehard member at thednvr.com. Get your discounts at the bar on merch, free merch, early tickets, all that fun stuff to our events. Check out some of the road trips. If you're into football, we have 2 Broncos road trips, I believe. We have a Buffs road trip down to Dallas in a few weeks to go watch the Prime debut at TCU, so go check that out if you're into that. Should be a super fun time. We'll have our Broncos tailgates all every home game. So plan around that. They're super fun. We have a bus from the bar, all that stuff. So go ahead and check that out. And you know, I guess that's the only thing we have left to say, baby.
We appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining us in the morning.
Up the pits.